This is just for the old memory bank here. Don't want to get another project car with Garnet, as usual. You can't even see the fucking trailer back there. Here we go. And yeah, hold on. Oh yeah.
Starting a new build today, guys. We're gonna take the old LS Colorado here, tear it apart, take the motors, what we're looking for. We're gonna leave the engine and everything in it. The rest of it will just be a rolling chassis for now, and we're gonna start on the Camaro. Hopefully someday we'll get this up together. Looking to put the 6-liter from this in it, add some parts, remove some parts, put a 6-speed in it, see what we can build out of the two. We're getting closer to having this ready to come out. We've got the intake off and loose. Fuel lines need to be unhooked yet. Headers are off except for 110 mil. You can probably see it right there. And then we just need to take the bell housing bolts off. I'm going to drain the coolant there now. And power steering lines. This motor will be ready to be pulled. Alright, radiator's out. We got the fan and the harness sitting aside there waiting. Next, I gotta try to get in here and get at this ground. Should be able to just turn that right out. Stuff like that you want to make sure it's tight, so it's going to be a little bit hard to get off, but it's not a huge deal. This is the ground to frame and then ground to the battery as well. There's a third one that was ground to body. It's most important when you're doing your electrical is having a proper ground. Still got to get back in there to the starter back in there. That'll allow us to get the wiring harness off this side completely. Alright guys, just another update. Get the intake off, the motor is out, headers are free, bolts are freed up for the motor mounts as well. Gotta do the bell housing bolts. They're pretty difficult to get at, but honestly, worked on vehicles a lot worse than this one. The space in these little trucks is unbelievable for what you really work with. Going from a 1/4 ton with an inline 5 to, an LS that's quite a bit wider. Works out well. Alright, it was a struggle, but the motor is out. Very dirty. We'll have to get this all cleaned up. Clutch still looks great though. Definitely healthy. I'm running Sideburr from the FabBot company. Got a different set of heads, so I'm not going to bother cleaning those. There's the old AR5. She held up well, but we got better things coming. Power steering pump was leaking, so we got oil everywhere, of course. But the hard part is done. Now we can get to tearing down the motor. We're gonna have to gap the rings and get some head gaskets, some head studs, and I guess we'll go from there. Alright, we're working on this again tonight. You guys haven't missed a whole lot since the last time I did a little update there. Basically, I've taken the pan off, cleaned that out, taken a look at things. A little bit of grime in the bottom, but nothing I'm really concerned about. Pickup tube looked nice and clean. Again, I'll show you that. Nothing to show in there. Looks good. The oil's still nice and gold. The bottom end is looking actually really good. Poor motor's not super clean by any means, but the cylinders all look nice and even as far as wear. Cam looks good in there. Let's see if I can get it to focus for us. Let's see where. And on the lifters, everything looks pretty normal from what I would think. I'm no engine builder by any means, but I'm going to give it a go kind of deal. Next thing to do will be to take the heads off, pull the pistons and rods out, make sure I mark them so I know which ones are where and whatnot. And I'll have to wait for the rings to come in, gap those, and that'll be next. We'll see you then. Alright, we're doing another update tonight on the Camaro. Got the pistons cleaned up, put back in the block. All the honing's done, rings are gapped. Everything's been lubed up for when we get back together. since it's going to sit a little while winter waits. We have received a turbo kit since the last time we did an update here. Other than that though, we got the front plate for the T56 here. Sent that off to a company down in the States, and they machine it so that you can run a LS1 style slave cylinder and put a bell housing on it for an LS1, of course. I got all my valves for my heads. Those got to be cleaned up, and then they're pretty well ready to go on. You get another box of goodies today. I got my ARP head bolts. These things look like they're going to be a pretty good setup. Did have a set of cheap head studs, but after reading some reviews, they don't turn out to be a very reliable setup. You know, mistakes are made, but order the right stuff and we'll go from there, kind of deal. They feel like a nice setup. Nice that they're powder coated. Not that anybody will ever see them. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated as time goes on. We'll keep at it. There's the turbo. Hey, I just wanted to do a quick video on the Hawks Motorsports LSX motor mounts. Just cover some issues I ran into. The websites get some pretty good instructions, but I found them a little bit vague on, full details on how things work here. What they refer to on the website is these motor mount bolt holes. That's for the OEM engine. We're running a 6-liter in this case. The OEM, I believe, is like a 305 or 350 depending on the year. So what I ran into is that on the website it says to use the 2 rear OEM bolt holes to locate your new LSX motor mount. And then from there you can drill your hole back here, and there's another one down right there. Now, the only other issue I ran into is that I'm running a poly mount and a clamshell style LS3 motor mount. Now, the issue I had is these have a flat side on this side, and then they have kind of like a wedge shape on the other side. It would make sense that that's the up way, but I had to flip them around in this case. If you look close, if you don't have this orientated right, this will actually collide with the K-member because it's just slightly different on the centering between this bolt and this bolt. So when that is the other way around, so 180 degrees, sorry, it actually brings this plate up a little bit. That's why you see this line here. That's where it was sitting and colliding with the K-member on both sides before I could actually get down to the bolt holes that you're supposed to use. So I just figured I'd make a quick video, hopefully clear some things up for somebody else, and best of luck. Hey guys, just filming a little update video for you tonight. Finally getting over being sick so I can get back to working on this project. I think what you've missed is I've modified the log manifold to bring the turbo down a bit. I cut about 2 inches out of it. I was careful to keep the O2 bung intact. Then I cut and dremeled out a hole in the manifold for the wastegate, welded that in, and created an issue. So when the wastegate was on here, it was actually touching, and I wasn't able to install the water pump with the factory fittings. So I had to buy these brass ones, tap them into the water pump. You can kind of see it in there. That's going to make room for the wastegate. Coming out straight though, like it was before, it was still a bit too close. So tonight's project has been cutting this on roughly about a 15-degree angle, measuring it out, get it figured out so that I don't superheat the water and there's actually a gap. I think that'll be fine. It's a decent enough air gap. If it really becomes an issue, I'll put a heat shield in, but before, when it was straight, you can kind of see like it was on that 1/2-inch side of the water pump. The next big thing is I sold the Colorado. It's gone, but we've got almost all the parts needed for the T56 now. And the bell housing came in just today. Seems to be a real nice quality. Surfaces are nice and smooth. It's definitely the cleanest part on the transmission, other than maybe the front plate. Do think I'm going to replace this master cylinder, or slave cylinder, sorry, because you can see if you look close, the seal's in pretty rough shape. So I'd rather replace it once and then do it all over again, kind of deal. But other than that, that's about it. This is January 11th, I believe, so we're making some progress on it. Still got lots to do. Should have lots of parts coming in this week though, as far as the oil pan, the bell housing, of course. Got to get a rear main seal, that's already ordered, on the way. Gonna order an intake for it as well, and we'll go from there.